What's up, guys, and welcome to Pour Over Finance. Inflation is eating our lunch. What are they going to do about that? We'll discuss that right here today on Pour Over Finance. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Pour Over Finance, where we provide you with the news that's happening in finance, crypto, all of those things. We discuss finance because that's what we love here. But before we jump into what's going on with the United States inflation rate, I want to ask you to do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit the notification bell if you want to see what we continue to do here. But without further ado, what I'd like to do is just jump right into what's going on. The United States of America has officially hit 9.1% inflation. The CPI data was released today, and I would like to just discuss a little bit of that because it's not good, but quite honestly, I believe we might be looking at the peak. Well, at least I think we're close to it. So, as I was mentioning, inflation surges 9.1% in June. That's been the most we've seen inflation since 1981. 40 years, they're saying, since we've seen these kind of inflation rates. It goes on to say the Bureau of Labor Statistics, CPI, the Consumer Price Index, reflected a year-over-year increase of 9.1 last month. So if you don't know, the CPI data is a month delayed. So today being Wednesday, the 13th of July, we're getting the data from the month of June. And a lot of it is being blamed on the high cost of just gas and oil and things of that nature. And it's kind of hard to say otherwise. Food is also insanely high, but a lot of these things are correlated. You know, what you see happening in terms of oil, that can affect everything. Someone needs to ship it. Someone needs to get it into stores. You know, so sometimes stuff is being imported. Some of it is being flown. And of course, these various modes of transportation to get goods moved around, you're going to see everything increase as a result. But 9.1%, that's what we're seeing. I honestly think for the next report that we get, we're going to see those numbers go down. I honestly don't think we're going to see those numbers continue to increase. What I'm very surprised about is the impact that it had on various markets. So just looking at the S&P 500, only a 0.45% increase. Don't get me wrong. Any increase is bad at this point. We're looking at 20.23% as an overall change year to date. But to be honest with you, 0.45% is not as bad as I expected it to be, considering the fact that it's 9.1% and it's the highest we've seen. That is truly something that I expected to really destroy the markets today, but it didn't do that. Even looking at our old buddy Bitcoin here, 19,716. I honestly expected a major dip. I expected this to go under $18,000 today, but it did not. And if you look at the charts, 19,572, it really didn't move when you consider the fact that we're in a period where you would expect lower and lower and lower prices, especially with everything that's going on. But if you zoom out a bit, there isn't much change in terms of Bitcoin from the news that we got today. I really expected a deeper dive, and it went up just a bit. So apparently people aren't too afraid. What's going to really make a huge difference is what we see happen in terms of in the coming days, which is, I believe, within the next week or two, we're going to be getting that information from Jerome Powell and the Fed as to whether or not they're going to increase interest rates by 0.5 basis points, 0.75 basis points, or there's a lot of speculation that we may see a 100 basis point increase, which basically means 1%. I believe what's going to be the real kicker here is when we get the information regarding how many basis points the Fed decides to increase interest rates by. So, whether we see 50 basis points, 75 basis points, 100 basis points, I believe that's really going to be the indicator of whether or not inflation is going to crush the market. I honestly think that right now, people or investors are just waiting to see what happens, and then that's going to make a big determining factor. Even when we get towards the end of the month and we find out whether or not we have been in an economic downturn and whether or not there has been a recession that's already underway, things of that nature is really what's going to dial it in, so to speak. But after this data was released, our vice president right here in the United States gave us some words of wisdom. And I guys, if you aren't doing so already, go ahead and follow us on Twitter. We're tweeting constantly, whether it's retweets, whether it's just insights, whether it's us just giving you more information as it comes out, news updates, things of that nature. You can also engage with us there. That would be nice. But I would like to go ahead and just listen to what our Vice President Kamala Harris has to say about the increase that we recently saw in terms of interest rates. So let's hear what Kamala has to say to us.
Before I begin, I will address this month's CPI report. There is no question that we still have work to do, but it is important to note that these numbers do not fully reflect the
It is important that we have work to do, but it is important that these numbers do. I love her.
recent drop in gas prices. Average national gas prices have fallen every day for nearly 30 days. Since mid-June, prices are down 40 cents a gallon. Fighting inflation is one of our administration's top economic priorities, which is why we have taken action to lower the cost of living for Americans, millions of Americans. We are releasing 1 million barrels of oil a day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to lower prices at the pump. We have reduced high-speed internet bills for millions of Americans. And we passed a tax cut to give working families up to $8,000 a year, which means giving folks more room in their budgets to buy food, medication, and school supplies for their children. President Joe Biden and I are always fighting to make sure that working families can get ahead and stay ahead. And that is why we continue to call on Congress to pass legislation to lower the price of prescription drugs, of health care, and the other everyday essentials that will meet the needs of American families.
Okay. That sounded good, I have to say. I give her a lot of credit for being able to give us a little bit of insight as to what we can expect. She says that they're lowering the price on high-speed internet bills. I'm not sure how that really works. Does the government work with ISPs to lower bill? Maybe someone could educate me on that. But she says the price of gas has gone down, which is true. I have noticed that there's been about in my area about 50 cents in terms of the overall change in gasoline prices. So that's good. They're releasing reserves, which is what she said. So this is all good. This is all good news, because what that indicates is that when we do get our next CPI report, which should be in the month of August, giving us the data from July, we're probably going to see that the inflation rates peaked in July. Well, actually peaked in June and started to roll backwards in July. That's my expectation, at least. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And of course, when that does happen, I'll be right here reporting the information to you. But at least they sent her and not Joe Biden, because apparently he couldn't read from a teleprompter. She can. But this is good news overall. Not good news in the terms of increasing inflation, but good news in terms of the fact that the United States government is making it a priority to reduce what we've already seen as just rampant inflation. And I look forward to see what we have coming in the future. Honestly, I'm just happy that the markets didn't take a massive hit. But even if it did, I would just dollar cost average as I always have been. But we'll have to just wait and see. In any case, you guys let me know what you think. Did the recent news of the increased inflation crush you? Was it exactly what you expected? Did you continue to dollar cost average? Are you waiting to hear whether or not they're going to increase by 50, 75, or 100 basis points? Is that what you're waiting for? Are you waiting to find out if there's going to be a recession? What are you going to do, huh? Let us know. In any case, guys, I'm Aaron. This is Pour Over Finance. And we want to thank you for joining us today. Please, as I mentioned in the beginning, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that we can continue to notify you of when these uploads happen. And please, hit a like on the video. We want to get some engagement going. We want people to know what we're doing here so that we can continue to do it. Any pay. I'm not getting paid. Anyway, I want to thank you guys, and I want to say peace.